Hi everyone, and welcome back to the 31 Days of Halloween. Today is October 20th. I know this month has flown by, but we still have a few days left, so that's good. Taking down to Halloween. It's something I saw online that I thought would be really fun to do because I love horror movies and I love October, was the 31 horror movie challenge. So it's 31 questions about different movies, so maybe it'll give you inspiration to watch new horror movies, different horror movies you've never heard of, but this is just my opinions. It may differ per person. I just thought this is a fun thing to do, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So question number 1, what is the first horror movie you have ever saw? Amityville Horror. Like I said in my Get to Know Me video, Amityville Horror was the first horror movie I have seen with my dad that I remember. Question number 2, most recent horror movie you watched? House of a Thousand Corpses. It's spooky season, and that's my favorite horror movie, hands down. I love everything about it. So I just thought it was perfect, and it revolves around Halloween too, so it makes sense. And you're probably going to hear that a lot more on this list because, well, it's my favorite. Question number 3, a movie that you love that everyone else hates. I would have to say Jeepers Creepers 3. I know all the stuff with the director, which is shitty and that sucks, but I just think I love that movie, and I didn't want to discredit any of the actors in it. Like Meg Foster's in that movie, but third time's the charm. Super funny, super corny, and I just love that movie. I know people may have other opinions. It's just I enjoy the movie, not the director, so I hope that you would give it a shot. Question number 4, goriest horror movie you have ever saw. I would have to say August Underground Trilogy. If you do not have a strong stomach, I would recommend not watching these movies. They are hard to find, but yeah, they're super gross, they're super gory. Even I had a hard time watching them, and I love gore and body horror. Penance is the third one. If you're gonna watch any of them, that's the goriest one, and that one you probably enjoy the most. Question number 5, favorite horror movie. Again, House of a Thousand Corpses, hands down. Captain Spaulding, everything to do with that is Dr. Satan. Just an amazing movie. Question number 6, funniest horror movie you have ever saw. I don't know if this would be classified as horror, but it is horror and it's gory, and it's made to be a joke movie about like archetypes and horror. So it's Tucker and Dale versus Evil. If you haven't seen it, I would give it a watch. It's really funny, and I think everyone would enjoy it, especially if you enjoy horror movies. Number 7, horror movies with the worst sequels. Friday the 13th. I don't really like the series to begin with. I think it's kind of not a good storyline, but Jason X, that just, I don't even know where to begin. It just gets worse from there. And, yeah, I've never really liked that series, but I would say that's definitely, in my opinion, are the horror movie series with the worst sequels. Question number 8, best horror movie reboot. I would have to say it's Poltergeist, the 2015 remake. Just the difference in the effects between the 1982 and the 2015 movie is what makes me love this. They still kept the original story, they just enhanced it, and now that they have more work with CGI and different stuff like that, it's just amazing, and I would definitely give that a watch. That would probably be my favorite reboot of a movie so far. Question number 9, best horror movie villain. Black Phillip. He might be odd, but he's 100% underrated. I love The Witch. It's such a suspenseful movie, and you don't really see what's gonna happen. You can't really be like, oh, I think this is gonna happen. He's such a good villain. Your typical horror movie villain, devil, but I love him, and it's amazing. Question number 10, horror movies you hate. Horror movies you hate that everyone else loves. I would say Dawn of the Dead. I hate zombie movies. They're just really boring, and yeah, so any zombie movie, but if I had to pick one, Dawn of the Dead. I know, don't hate me. Question number 11, best horror movie with a disappointing ending. I saw this online. It had so many good reviews. Everyone said to watch it, and it's about haunted houses, which I work in that industry and I love. So the house is October built. It's about haunted houses and these people that go along. It is a story, made up story, but it's just so suspenseful. It had me sitting on the edge of my seat, but the ending was such a letdown. It had like nothing special about it. They did make a second one. I haven't watched again, so I guess we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll give it good, but the whole movie was suspenseful, and then the ending just lacked shock value. It had nothing really going for it, so that was kind of a letdown for me. Question number 12, my least favorite horror movie that I've watched that I can really say I hated is Book of Shadows, the Blair Witch 2. Terrible movie. I don't know why it was ever made. It's really funny. I guess you could give it a good funny vote, but it's not a horror movie, and it's ridiculous and terrible. Like, some horror movies are funny, that they're enjoyable, but this is just has nothing going for it. Question number 13, horror movies I've been wanting to see but haven't. I really want to watch Raw. It came out a few years ago. It has amazing reviews. I know I said I don't like zombie movies. This is a zombie movie kind of, but it has more of a day-to-day life feel. It's not really outrageous, so I really want to watch that. It is on my list, and maybe I'll give it a watch this October, and maybe some of you guys should watch it too. Question number 14, horror movies with the best sequel. Nightmare on Elm Street. I love Nightmare on Elm Street. I love the sequels. I would say they did a good job on the sequels for that movie. Yeah. Number 15, worst horror movie reboot. Night of the Living Dead 3D. That is a terrible reboot. The original was really good, but the reboot just bad effects, bad everything, and again, zombies. So that just gives us a down vote. And number 16 and 17, I said were the same. The first question was horror movie with terrible acting, and 17 was the cheesiest horror movie you've ever seen. Well, I picked the same one for both because it kind of works for both. Is Piranha 3DD. This movie's so cheesy and the actors suck, except for David Hasselhoff, and it just sucks so much that it was funny. Like, I don't think anyone could take it seriously, but it was a funny movie, so I give it that. It would be cheesy. One of the cheesiest movies I've seen, and it has terrible acting, but the terrible acting makes it cheesy, so that makes it funny. So I guess if you're into that, that's an upvote for that movie. Question number 18, horror movies with the worst plot. The first one that came to mind was Jack Frost. Yeah, it's about Jack Frost, and he comes to life, and he kills people, and yeah, I don't know, I just think it's ridiculous. It is an old movie, cheesy movie, so I mean, once upon a time, maybe it was scary, but I just think that's bad. Question number 19, best horror movie soundtrack. This is my personal opinion. I know there's probably better people who think other movies are better, but for me, it's Devil's Rejects. I love the soundtrack. I love Rob Zombie movie soundtracks in general, but Freebird at the end, any scene of that movie is just amazing. But I love all the soundtracks for his movies. Question number 20, horror movie title that best describes your life right now. I would have to say 28 Weeks Later. Anything to do with like plague or any kind of virus, that's how I feel. So quarantine 28 weeks later sounds about right. Question number 21, best 70s horror movie. Again, this is my opinion, but my favorite 70s horror movie is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Question number 22, best 80s horror movie. Again, I think Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite horror movie from the 80s. And 23, best 90s horror movie. Again, my opinion, but my favorite 90s horror movie that I remember watching that I love is The Blair Witch Project. It really was suspenseful and scary, and it made me not want to go camping. So I love that. Or dry throat. Question number 24, best genre of horror. To me, the best genre of horror is gore or body horror because I love all the effects. I love the blood and the gore and the torture and any of that aspect. So for me, that would be my favorite genre and the best genre that I like to watch. 25, best horror movie made for children, Labyrinth. It is, I guess it was kind of made for children, but it did have a lower rating, but I love Labyrinth. Yeah, it's just funny. I guess it could be kind of horror, but I love David Bowie, so that's one of my favorite children's horror movies. Question number 26. Horror movie title that best describes my ex. Hellraiser, probably. Yeah, that's just, I don't even want to talk about that, but we're just gonna give him Hellraiser. Question number 27. Best non-Halloween horror movie. Non-Halloween themed horror movie that I love, that's amazing, is Krampus. If you don't know what Krampus is, go check it out. I love that movie. Such a good storyline, and it has its own fan following now, so it's doing something right. But yeah, that would be my favorite non-Halloween horror movie. Question number 28. Best Stephen King horror movie. My favorite Stephen King is It. I love It. I love Pennywise. So that is my favorite Stephen King horror movie of all times. Question number 29. Best horror movie based on true events. The Conjuring series. I love that series. I love the stories about Ed and Lorraine Warren. That's probably my favorite series based on true events. Question number 30. Best horror movie death. This may not be the best for everyone, but I love this death. In Maniac, the shotgun scene, just the straight shotgun through the window, they just blow the guy's head apart and it splatters on his girlfriend. But Tom Savini's makeup was amazing, and I love all the practical gore and effects for that. So that would be my favorite horror movie death. And question 31. What is your guilty pleasure horror movie? I would have to say my guilty pleasure horror movie that I love and I watch all the time would be Wrong Turn. That just brings back childhood memories with my friends, kind of an inside thing between us, but Wrong Turn, the whole series, any of them, hilarious, I love them, and brings back my childhood memories. So I hope you enjoyed the 31 horror movie questions. I thought 31 would be good for Halloween, and especially the horror aspect, so maybe you have something new to watch, something you've never heard of before. I do like to think I've watched a lot of horror movies and underground horror movies that people wouldn't know about. And yeah, I love my horror genre and I love October, so I hope you enjoyed this video. And again, day 20, I will see you tomorrow for October 21st. October's ticking by, but thank you so much for watching my videos and continuing to support me. If you want to, all my links for my social media are down below in the description box. And thank you so much, guys. I love you all, and I hope you guys stay spooky. Have a great night.